Hello Bookish friends, welcome to my April wrap-up part 2. In this video I will talk about the 5 works that I finished in the second half of April, and like I did in my previous videos, I will insert the clips that I've recorded very soon after I finish those works. Today is the 18th of April and I finished the book that I was listening for a while, which is the latest book in Phillip Bright series, Murder by Invitation by Coleen Cambridge. In this book we follow Agatha Christie's housemate, Phillip Bright, as she tries to solve the murder that happened in a murder game in the neighboring mansion. And it was found out that the murder victim in an interactive play slash murder game is really dead. Phillip, as one of the guests, take over the investigation as the real constable has a hard time getting to the mansion because of very bad weather conditions. And of course her biggest help is her kind of nemesis slash love interest, the chauffeur Bradford. I'm certainly loving this mystery series, maybe because I knew the characters of Phillip and her surroundings so well. This book was the book that I enjoyed the most. Phillip is a very lively character with a very clever mind, but also she has many faults, like being so full of herself and having prejudices towards broad-shouldered chauffeurs and some members of the canine family. However, in this book we see her boundaries get down, and I think what made this book a bit better than the previous two ones was the gradual character development and letting go of her prejudices. But I also found the plot to be quite clever. Although I guessed the killer, it was quite clever how this was a fair mystery and how we saw the clues along with Phillip, so that we had an opportunity to solve the mystery ourselves. Overall, this was a favorite read for me, and I gave Murder by Invitation by Coleen Cambridge a 9 out of 10. Today is the 23rd of April and I finished the book that I was reading with Kristin at Enter the Book, The Husband's Secret by Liane Moriarty. In this book we follow 3 women. One is Celia. She finds a letter in the attic addressed to her by her husband, but to be opened in the case of his death. When Celia asks what this letter is all about, her husband says that it's just a sappy love letter, but tries too hard to make sure that Celia does not open the letter. Our second heroine, Tess, learns that her husband has fallen in love with Felicity, who is Tess's cousin as well as her best friend. Using the excuse of her mother's fall and injury, Tess decides to leave the home with her 6-year-old son and goes back to her hometown, which is also Celia's hometown. Rachel, our third heroine, is an elder lady working in the school that both Celia's and Tess's children do attend. She has lost her daughter Janie when she was 18 years old, about 15 years ago. Because the murder of her daughter is not found, Rachel is still stuck in the past, grieving a lot, and also has not given up on finding her daughter's killer. Like the previous books that I've read from Liane Moriarty, the book takes place in a small community, and the characters are all related and interconnect with each other, which makes us much more easier to get into the book. This book was quite a genre blend. It was a combination of contemporary fiction, mystery and romance, some parts humorous and quite tragic. As well as this book being a genre blend, I also had quite a blend of emotions while reading this book. I was laughing out loud in some parts, really swooning over a couple, and then being really curious about this mysterious letter, and sometimes tearing up and feeling Rachel's grief as well. Kristin and I had a great buddy read, and we shared our feelings and ideas about the book all the time. And I know that Kristin also felt so many emotions while reading this book, like myself. So we were both very impressed by the book. Overall, I gave The Husband's Secret by Liane Moriarty a 9 out of 10. Today is the 27th of April, and I finished the book that I was listening for a while, which was The Boys from Brazil by Ira Levin. This book was originally not on my TBR, but I chose to listen to this book because it would fit one of the prompts in Old School April, the readathon that I'm participating this month, which was a book written in the year that I was born. In this book, a secret Nazi organization run by Dr. Mengele, the Nazi doctor who committed horrific scientific experiments on humankind, mostly on genetics. In this meeting, Dr. Mengele gives a list containing the names of 96 people. The common denominator is that they are 65 or 66 years males who are civil servants, and a young man who secretly records this meeting tries to contact Lieberman, a Jew who's the head of a committee determined to find the Nazi war criminals all around the world. And during that phone conversation, he is caught and killed, but Lieberman hears enough to be interested to examine if this young man is telling the truth or not. Although this book had a very uneven tempo, I really liked the main plot idea of the book. I will not be able to talk about the reason behind these killings, but I thought it was a very forward idea considering the time period that it was written. It looks like Ira Levin did his research well. The writing style of Levin was quite engaging. I especially like the ending of the book. Overall, it was a quite good read for me, and I gave The Boys from Brazil by Ira Levin a 7 out of 10. Today is the 29th of April, and I finished the book that I was reading with Alice at Alice and the Giant Bookshelf, which was The Man in the High Castle by Phillip K. Dick. I really wanted to read original work of the TV series adaptation that I loved very, very much. And when Alice said that it was one of her books that she wanted to read in 2024, I offered the buddy read the book with her. This book takes place in an alternative America in 1962. Slavery is legal once again. The few Jews who will survive hide under assumed names. In San Francisco, the I-Ching is as common as the Yellow Pages, all because some 20 years earlier, the United States lost a war and is now occupied by Nazi Germany and Japan. And in this environment, we follow the perspectives of many different characters, including a Jew living in an assumed name, his ex-wife, who really wants to live a good life, a Japanese minister questioning the validity of their cause, an art dealer who's selling old American items, and many more. If you want me to summarize my feelings about this book, I could do it in just 2 words. Hugely disappointed. Only thing that I liked about this reading experience was that I was buddy reading it with Alice, and we really had a chance to complain about the book in our messages. Other than my friendship and back and forth messages with Alice, the idea of the book is very, very interesting. However, the execution of the book is horrible, and I could never imagine a book with such an interesting concept could be written so boringly and so pointlessly. The writing style of Philip K. Dick, like some other classical sci-fi authors, was extremely dry, and also the rhythm of the sentences was very inconsistent. Characters were very two-dimensional, or ones that had some gray areas were actually quite confusing to understand their motives. I never thought a book under 300 pages could take so long to read, because with the exception of a couple of chapters, after finishing the chapter, I had no desire to read anymore from the book. And most importantly, my regard for the writers of the adaptation is increased a lot, because the adaptation was very good. All of the characters were three-dimensional and quite complex, and their contradictory natures were written so well. It was not hard to understand the contradictions they faced, which was the polar opposite of this book. My advice is, if you want to know the story, stick with the adaptation. Overall, I gave The Man in the High Castle by Phillip K. Dick a 5 out of 10, just for the very interesting idea of the book. Otherwise, in regards to my enjoyment level, I would have given this book 3 out of 10. Today is the 30th of April, and in the last day of the month, I finished a novella that I was listening for the past 3 days, which was called Ağaçların, Özel Hayatı by Alejandro, Zambra. This novella, originally written in Spanish, also has an English translation titled The Private Lives of Trees. This novella tells the story of a single night. An English teacher named Julian is reading and also telling stories to his stepdaughter Daniela, also nervously waiting for his wife to return from her art class. When Veronica is really late, he reflects on their life together and imagines what Daniela would be at 20, 25 and 30 years old without her mother. Although I'm not a big fan of stream of conscious type of writing, this one was quite decent for me because of this beautiful writing. I also really loved the relationship between the daughter and the stepfather, which was the central theme of this book. So overall, I gave Ağaçların, Özel Hayatı by Alejandro Zambra a 7 out of 10. So those were my views on the 5 works that I finished in the second half of April. Please comment down below. Have you read any of the works that I mentioned in this video, and what did you think of them? If you're a new viewer, first of all, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. As for Turkish word of the day, I'm going to choose high. High means yüksek in Turkish, and yüksek is our Turkish word of the day. Have a good day.